Hello there! Wow! Perfect! Wonderful! Well done!
Okay!
What's up everybody, the Nintendo Beast here, and it's time again to do another My Nintendo Rewards unboxing and review video. We're not going to waste any time, let's dive into it. So in this shipment, we've got 3 separate items. The first one I'm pulling out here is a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet notebook. On the front of the notebook here, we have the starter Pokemon. The spine is blank. It also does say Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet on the front of the book there. The back does seem to also have the starter Pokemon as part of their design, but you can't really see it just yet. It is shrink wrapped sealed, so I'm gonna have to rip this open really quickly. As a collector, usually I try to keep these things sealed or as close to sealed as humanly possible. This reward is not one you can really do that with since it is shrink wrapped. But here, pull this out first, is your little card here. You know, the usual information card saying E for everyone, Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, My Nintendo Reward, yada yada yada, made in China. No, this is actually made in Canada. Oh, Canada. Okay. Alright, so now that it's out of the shrink wrap, there it is again. That's the front, and then we turn it around, and that's the back. It is pretty simple of a design, but I do want to note that it is, I guess it's embossed, the design. So let me show you. Only the top 3 and the text on the front here. I'm going to try to tilt it and see if you can see it catching the light in different ways. This is textured, these 3, and the text. These ones on the bottom are just printed on. But then when you flip it over, these are also embossed. So you have these are 3-dimensional as well. Again, I don't know if you can really see it catching the light differently, but maybe you can, maybe you can't. They're kind of a little bit glossy, but they are 3-dimensional, which is cool. Inside this bad boy, you have, it's just like a regular notebook, but as you can see, there are 3 distinct sections of this notebook. I don't want to bend the crease the spine too much here, because I am a collector and I like to keep things in nice condition. But you have a green section. You have 3 different sections. You have the green section, the red section, and the blue section, all featuring designs of this generation's starter Pokemon, which is pretty cool. That was the red one, and then you have the blue one. Other than that, all of the pages are exactly the same. There are no writing prompts or anything like that, like we saw in previous Mario notebooks. This is strictly just basically lined paper. You can write whatever you want in there. You can write notes as you play the games. You can write diary entries into it. You could do whatever you want. It's just lined paper for all intents and purposes. But it's very cool. And yeah, so that is the notebook. Now, going along on that same trend, we have some more Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet rewards. Here are the highlighters. Now, right out of the gate here, I will say they are much smaller than I expected them to be. They are not to scale with a regular pen or like highlighter. That comes to mind for me. Let me pull these guys out. So again, these are just in like the regular plastic slip cover. You just pull it open and you can slide them out here, as is the norm, I would say, for My Nintendo Rewards. Inside you have, again, your little information card, and then you have your highlighters. So here they are. As you can see, these are tiny. I don't know if I don't have a pen on me, or nearby, I don't think, that I could compare these to, but they are quite small. For some form of reference, here's the notebook in comparison to the highlighters. These are just perfectly lined up right here. As you can see, the highlighters, like I said, are very, very small. Weirdly small. They're almost like, they almost remind me of like, they're slightly larger than crayons. They're like slightly larger than crayons, which is weird for a highlighter in my mind. Now, before I figure out how to pop these apart, here is the front design there. You have your two legendary Pokemon from Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. On the back here, you kind of have, and by on the back, I mean like on the highlighters themselves, you have similar designs. It's just like the white silhouettes. So it is very, very easy to pop them apart. As you can see, when you pop them apart, there is like this like clip, I want to say. It's just like a plastic clip, plastic housing unit, I'll call it, that you pop these into. Pretty simple, pretty slick. I'm not mad at that. Then you get to the actual highlighters themselves, and this one I suppose is going to be purple-ish, violet, if you will. I imagine it's going to be kind of like a neon purple, and then in comparison you have what appears to be a neon orange. Just looking at like the base of this, I'm assuming this is going to be like a neon orange, you know, to play on Scarlet, but it's probably not going to be Scarlet per se. And then another thing I do want to note, which is kind of weird to me, I've never seen, I guess I'm just used to chisel tip highlighters. This is a very rounded tip for a highlighter in my mind. Maybe that's just me. Maybe there are like a wide array of types of highlighters, but I've only ever seen like the chisel tip shape where it's like flat on one end and you just line. This looks like more of like a little, like a magic marker type of thing. Again, I'm not mad at it. It's just kind of strange. Same thing with the violet one, I'll say. Same thing with this one. Not a chisel tip. I don't know how well this will work as a highlighter. You might have to go multiple times to highlight something, bigger text. But it is pretty simple. You just line it up, you pop it back in there, and you do the same. Oops, I do want to turn it so it's on display appropriately. And then you do the same thing with the other one, and they're back in there. So, I mean, as far as the housing of it goes, pretty convenient. You're not going to lose one. I mean, you could very easily lose one, I guess, but as long as you have this plastic piece and you're reconnecting them after each use, you're not going to lose these bad boys. It would be kind of cool if it had a clip on the back. Then you could actually clip it into, or, you know, clip it to the top of the notebook. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers. It's a free item. And then last but certainly not least, we have the Metroid Prime Remastered large, I think they're called large pins. Let me pop these bad boys out of the slipcover here, and let's take a look at these closer up. Again, another very, very simple little plastic pouch type of deal, as is the norm with My Nintendo Rewards. Let me show you the back first, just to get it out of the way here, because less people care about the back. There's the back, all four little pins. So each of these two pins, these are two different pins. Each one has two different backers to it, because they are quite large. If they had one, they'd be falling out, they'd be breaking. They need the two, because they're heavy duty. They're heavy duty pins here. I also want to take the time to just appreciate they did in fact put like this spacey kind of background on there, on the back of this. They didn't have to. They could have left this completely blank. They could have just had like the promotional use only notice and the barcode on the back there. Could have been white, could have been black, and nobody would have batted an eyelash. But they did take the time. They did expend the energy and put that cool galaxy kind of background on there. So I just wanted to point that out and note that because it's cool. But the real main attraction here is obviously the front, the actual pins. So when I first saw this, I assumed that it was just this Samus pin right here, but this Metroid Prime Remastered logo is also a pin, which is very, very cool. And I knew that when I ordered it, but I didn't realize, I thought this was just a decal on the actual cardstock backing, and this was the actual pin. But I was actually really, really excited to find that they're both pins. Very, very cool. And both of them seem to be very, very high quality. They're nice pins. Glossy finish. I don't want to get too many fingerprints on them right away. But yeah, they're big. They're beautiful. I don't know what else to say about them. You got the big Metroid Prime Remastered logo, obviously, and then you have Samus taking a knee. But not bending the knee, but just taking a knee. And it's just, yeah. Super, super cool. High quality, seem very durable. Highly recommend these bad boys. Okay, so now it's the time we look at the 3 items that we received in this My Nintendo Platinum Rewards prize, reward, shipment, whatever you want to call it. We take a look at the rewards that we got in this shipment, and we decide which was the best in show and which was the worst in show. And I think it's pretty obvious that in my mind, the worst in show, maybe not too obvious, but I would say the worst in show are the highlighters, the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet highlighters, simply because they're super duper small, which means in my mind they're not going to last as long as like regular highlighters would. And then you also have the not chiseled tips, and maybe that's just me, maybe that's a weird thing, like maybe you're watching this and you're like, what the heck is a chiseled tip highlighter? I've never heard of this, I've never heard different kinds. A highlighter's a highlighter, but because they have the round tips, it doesn't feel as much like a highlighter to me. But more importantly than any of that, they are just shockingly small. Now, if they came bundled with this book, this would be a super, super cool singular reward. And don't get me wrong, I like both these rewards. This is exactly what I expected. It's a notebook, it's plain, it's simple, nothing special, but it's still a really, really high quality notebook, right? Just lined paper, Pokemon themed, super cool. Practical, you could use this for many, many things. Highlighters, was assuming it would be a similar situation, wasn't expecting much from them, was expecting them to be actual sized highlighters, not just little mini highlighters. But an added bonus that I didn't realize it was going to be was the plastic clip housing thing for it. This is pretty cool. This amps up the score. If it was just these 2 highlighters bundled together, I'd be like, this is Garbo. This is like, even for free, this is like, why? Maybe that's being a bit overboard on it, but overcritical, I would say. But because that housing unit is part of it, I think that does amp up the reward quite a bit in my mind. But still, they're so small, they're underwhelming, and that's why they got the worst in show spot. And with that being said, with the notebook being exactly what I expected it to be, not overwhelming, not underwhelming, just exactly what I expected, and the highlighters being the worst in show, being pretty underwhelming. I think it's obvious to say that the Metroid Prime Remastered pin set is by far the best in show. They're just, it's hard to say because they're just so simple. It's such a simple reward. It's hard to like look at this and really dive into it, but they're just high quality pins, glossy finish, the designs look beautiful, the packaging itself, since I am a collector, I'm probably never going to take these off of, you know, the cardstock backing. Just looking at the cardstock backing itself, it came in a good condition. It's printed both front and back. The design itself looks nice. It's not like some previous rewards where like the logos were all blurry and pixelated, whatever. It's just all around. This is like just a flawless reward. It's a flawless reward, and the designs are cool, and it's exciting, and I don't know what else to say. It just, pick this one up. If you have the rewards points and it's still available on My Nintendo, pick this bad boy up. Super cool. You will not regret it. So that's that. That's the My Nintendo Platinum Rewards review and unboxing for this month. Let me know in the comment section below what you've redeemed your Platinum points for as of late, or your Gold points. Let me know what you're redeeming any of your My Nintendo points for. Also in the comment section below, let me know which reward from this shipment was your favorite. As always, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe here to the channel, as well as ringing the bell for notifications for when I do live streams here on the channel every single weekend, Saturdays usually at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as when I upload new video content such as this every single weekday, Monday through Friday of every single week. Make sure to smash the like button on this video, and like I said before, leave me a comment in the comment section below. But until next time, I am the Nintendo Beast. Thank you so much for watching.